This is video number 2 of investment stuff that I have learned over the last 3 months or so that I've been doing some research and dipping my toe in the water and having some good results, but mostly learning a lot. So yesterday we covered off on a couple of really foundational things that are, number one, this is not financial advice, so please don't take it as such. And number two, the magic acronym NERF, N-E-R-F, never ever risk your fundamental needs. So in other words, do not ever in anything you're investing in risk what you're not willing to lose. Even if it sounds like a sure thing, even if it's a very low risk investment, it's still an investment, and it's like going to Las Vegas. Some are more like Vegas than the others, but just remember not to ever risk money that you are not willing to lose. What I intended to do for today's video was give you some details around one project that I know of where you can take as little as $200 and put it into account and just let it do its thing. You don't have to really know a lot about what's going on in crypto. You have to be able to send money through Zelle. That's it. And then set up a couple of accounts. But I don't want to give that to you yet, only because it's something that I'm still looking at. I have money in it. I put a couple $100 in it, and so far I think I sent 208, and I think I've earned in 3 weeks maybe like $3 or something like that, which is not bad. I mean, considering I didn't put a lot of money in it yet. But again, the jury's still out, so I just want to make sure they're doing everything that they said they would do before I give you that and set you out on that path. So today I want to talk a little bit more about community. And I said yesterday in yesterday's video that you can either go alone or go with community, and I really recommend that you go with community in this, unless you just have a lot of time and a lot of energy to put into getting your discernment muscle built up to understand what you're looking at, whether what you're looking at is real or not, true or not. If you get into 1 or 2 really good communities that you trust, you're going to be a lot better off. So I talked to you and gave you the links for the paid community. Well, one link was for the $10 blueprint, which kind of gives you all this really foundational stuff that you need to know, setting up wallets and exchange accounts and all that stuff. But the other thing I gave you was the link to the Multipreneurs Legion group, which is basically a paid subscription. You're paying to learn, and you're paying to be able to basically mimic what people who are actually making money at this are doing. I may or may not stay in it forever. I don't know. I'm in it right now, and I'm getting a lot of good information, but there's a fine line there, right? Because I'm trying to free up money to invest, but yet I'm also paying for that monthly subscription. If one of these things that I'm working on, one of the higher risk ones, if I do really well at it, I'll just pay for a quarter or a year of service, of subscription from this, because I think it's that valuable. But for now I'm paying monthly. So the other community that I want to tell you about is being very carefully crafted and managed by a group of people that are led by someone that I trust a lot. He's a mentor of mine. I have followed him and purchased things from him, and really think a lot of how his mind works and the type of communities that he builds. For several years now, I have followed him. What he's doing is revolutionary in an industry that is already revolutionary. I mean, I think we can all agree that cryptocurrency is something that is, let's face it, it's not really mainstream yet, right? And I know even banks are fighting it because it's deregulated. You don't have to deal with the banks necessarily. You don't have to if you end up moving a lot of your funds into cryptocurrency. I think more and more companies are accepting crypto for payment now, and you can even get a Visa card from an exchange that pays in crypto, your crypto that you have sitting in a wallet. So anyway, that's kind of advanced stuff, but what I'm saying is I think it's going to be around. So what Nick Peterson has built in the Wolf Den, that's the name of the community, the Wolf Den, is an educational community. And there is a lot of free information to be had, but what free means is you've got to really go and look for it. There are videos published on YouTube that are free for the taking, free for the listening and watching, but they do not coddle you. They will not walk you through step by step. If you get into one of their forums where they discuss things inside, say, Discord. Discord is the app that most of the cryptocurrency communities and projects communicate on. And you'll hear a lot of references to it whenever you start researching. If you go into Discord and start asking questions that they've already answered in videos or previous articles or something like that, they'll just refer you to the article. They don't coddle you. They think everybody ought to do their research. It's kind of tough love. But there's really, really solid information inside as far as security measures, the steps to setting up your wallets and how to trade currencies back and forth and that kind of thing. But their community is centered around their own decentralized exchange, which is called NightSwap. And it's great. It's fantastic. Their purpose is to educate while also helping you build wealth. So here's what I'll say about all of this. And I started to lead with this today, but I promised you some additional information on the community, so I want to give you that. And by the way, with Wolf Den, there are also several paid tiers that you can pay to get into the community and pay one time, but you have to pay with cryptocurrency and a particular token, and that gets you into some of the more detailed information, more open sharing, let's put it that way. But here's what I'll say about all of it, every bit of it. You need to understand what your goal is. And anybody who's worked with me, and a lot of you have, we've had conversations at the very least via text message or on Facebook. I always preach clarity, and this is no different. You need to understand what your goals are around this. This is no different. How you go into and work within the cryptocurrency world really is dependent on what your goals are. If you have long-term goals and your time preference is extended, 5, 10 years, then I would say you should be operating one way. You should be focusing on some longer term investments. The Wolf Den is prime for that. They're prime for that. They base everything on what they call their base case, that you are going to set up your investments with an intended probably 10-year goal. And they preach you understanding exactly what dollar amount you're trying to hit. I would like to hit $10 million in 10 years, and I have X amount to put into it, and I have X amount to spend every month. And they've got a pretty good system worked out to make sure that you could very well hit that goal. But I can tell you, to hit that goal, that particular goal, the way the returns are in that community right now, you would need to start off with probably $10,000. If anybody on here has $10,000 that they do not need for anything else right now, I can tell you exactly what I would do with 10 grand that I didn't need for anything else. And I can tell you exactly what tokens I would buy, how I would pair it, and where I would put it. And then I wouldn't think about it anymore, because the way the Wolf Den is set up, you can get your money out anytime. You can have it. It's not like you have it staked and you can't get it back. A lot of these projects that you'll hear about, like in Multipreneurs and in other places, once you put your money in, you have to wait to get anything back. So your time preference and your goals, what you're trying to achieve here, really is going to inform how you operate and what direction you take, what your strategy is. If you have an extended time preference, 5-10 years, it's one way. If you are looking to create a passive income, which I'm a big fan of. I think everybody should have at least some passive income. Passive income, and a lot of people think like real estate is passive income. It's not necessarily. You do still have to spend some time on it, right? When I say passive income, I mean income that you're basically creating by investing in a certain thing, and then you don't think about it anymore. The money just comes in, right? Just comes in regularly, and you don't think about it anymore. If you get enough of those streams going at, $100 a month here or there, you can build it up. I put probably $80 into one this week that I will just compound every day. The returns on it, I'll compound it, and compounding interest is something that you all need to learn about and study about. I'll compound that every day for a month and should get pretty good returns on it. I won't take any kind of profit off of it or anything. And then after that, I might start taking a little bit of profit. But my intent there, because it is relatively stable and I've invested that money, I'm not going to get it back anyway. What my intent there is to build up the base investment enough with that compounding so that it can actually start returning me a decent income, so many dollars a day. That's the intent. And if you can come across projects like that, and that's where I found that in the Multipreneurs community. So that's the value of that. That may pay for the subscription itself. All of that to say that you just need to be very clear about what your goals are. If you're looking for passive income, you want to do things one certain way. If you're of the mindset that I need to generate $5,000 in 30 days, I'm going to tell you to go sell all your stuff or something. Don't do this, because you're going to be desperate, and you're going to make bad decisions, and you're going to get caught up in some things that are probably more risky than you should, and you're going to end up losing, and you're going to end up in worse shape than you are right now. So and it's fun. It's fun to take those Las Vegas risks if you got a bit of a gambler in you, but do it with $100 or $200. Don't do it with big money thinking that you're going to hit it rich. There is no get rich quick. There's very, very rarely a get rich quick. And you hear about people that buy these tokens at a very small, very tiny price, and then they go up. And it does happen. Don't get me wrong. There are millionaires that were made millionaires because cryptocurrency, helped them do that. There are people in the wolf den who have made a ton of money because they bought into one or two of the tokens that are inside that ecosystem that are wealthy now because they got in early and they made a smart decision about partnering with that project. You're not going to do that every time. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. So just understand what your goals are. Understand what your tolerance for risk is. I have a very low risk tolerance. I'm not a gambler. I have gotten better about being able to take risk. I can say, okay, I'll take this $100, and if I don't get it back, I just don't. That's the price I pay for learning. I've gotten better about that, and I think that we need a certain amount of that. We need to be able to take some risks, but we certainly do not need to take any risk with money that we need, that we're going to need back. And we certainly don't want to make decisions fast and ill-informed and end up wrecking ourselves. The other thing I wanted to say about community is, when I say community, I'm not talking about just going into, say, one place and listening to a bunch of people talk or seeing what they're writing about in, say, Discord or whatever forum. Everybody's got an opinion, and there are going to be people out there who are pushing you to buy one token or another. And in general, most of the time, buying one single token and hoping it's going to go skyrocket in value is probably not the way to go. If that's what you wanted to do, I would say just go and buy $10 or $20 worth of Bitcoin every week, or whatever it is you can afford from your every pay period, and just let that add up. That's how I would do it if you just wanted to focus on single coins. But there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn, and I'm trying to make sure that I share this with you in layers so that it's not terribly confusing. What am I doing? I'm doing a mixture. I'm doing a mixture because my goals are multi-layered. I'm 52 years old. Ideally, I will have a certain amount of money set aside by the time I'm 55, because I want to be able to work less and live more at that time. Certainly bigger goals around that 10-year time frame, that 62 years old time frame. And then I have some short-term goals where I have the She Teaches You project started, the learning platform that I'm building, and hopefully a lot of you are going to get involved in, and I need to fund that. I want it to become self-funding, but right now I'm paying for it out of pocket. So part of what I'm trying to generate passive income for right now is to support that. So my goals are multi-layered, and so I'm taking a multi-layered approach. I'm in the Wolf Den, I'm in the paid tiers so that I get access to all of the information there. And I'm building a base case inside the Wolf Den. I didn't have 10 grand to just drop in there, so I'm slowly building it. And man, I'm loving to see how much more my money is worth in there right now than it would have been had I just had it sitting in a bank account somewhere. That's what I'm most excited about. So I'm doing that. I'm also in the Multipreneurs Legion group, and I'm following some of those kind of Las Vegas risk signals, never risking more than, 100 or 200 at a time, but really following those to try to generate some faster cash, but not with a ton of money. And then also the lady who runs that is really good about finding these passive income opportunities where, you can put in $70, $80, $100, $200, up to whatever you want. The more you put in, the more you're going to generate. But those are to build a passive income stream. She's one of these people who's probably got 20 or 25 of those passive income streams working. And she's to the point now where she's putting in so much money at a time where I might put in 200, she's putting in 2,000, and then maybe 7,500 on top of that. And where I'm generating a couple of bucks a day, she's probably generating 14, 15, 20 bucks, depending on the project. So you get enough of those going, and especially if you're compounding that interest, you can set yourself up with a tidy little group of streams of income. So multi-prong approach, because I have a multi-layered goal. You have to decide what it is that you want. If you just want to dabble, if you just want to play and figure things out, you can do that pretty much for free in terms of just that $10 blueprint to tell you how to set everything up and dabble, but you need to be prepared to lose more than you win in those situations, and you need to be very, very careful about scammers. If you get into a conversation or a situation where you're reading about something and you feel rushed, like you feel excited and agitated and rushed, stop. Slow down, stop, and breathe. Make sure that you're not sending money into a project that is basically a scam. And make sure that you've done your due diligence around the project itself. Again, that's where community comes in, because these projects are pretty much being researched for me in that aspect. And that's why, I love the Wolf Den community, because I trust them. I have no reason not to trust them. They have no intention of scamming anybody, and I know these people, so I'm very trusting about what they're doing. And Nick is one of those people that anything he does, I want in on it. It's kind of like Elon Musk. If Elon Musk says he wants to invest in cherry trees, you probably should go ahead and invest in cherry trees, because he's going to make something out of it. And that's the way Nick is. I will put a link to the Wolf Den YouTube channel below. I think you can just drop in there, it's public, you can just drop in there, but some of it's not going to make sense to you because it's so far. They started this back last year, probably in August, September, October, so there's videos that go all the way back to that. You can pick up where they are right now, but some of it's not going to make sense to you. That's it for now. As soon as I have everything together that I want to share with you on that kind of set it and forget it, don't need the details opportunity, I will give you that. I'll have more information for you soon. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm happy to answer whatever questions y'all have. I'm going to do several more of these. I have a lot more to tell you.